Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story is titled, "My girlfriend doesn't know how much debt she's in, and I feel like she's hiding things." Me and my girlfriend have been together for 2 years. We live in my house. 70k debt left. 15 years mortgage. I'm the sole owner. She only pays 150 to help towards utilities at my request. A few days ago, I was talking to my 30 female girlfriend, 32 female, and jokingly said, "Do you have any secret debt that I'll find out about when we get married?" She says she doesn't have any debt, and that she always makes sure she repays the minimum credit card amount. I laughed and said that credit card repayments are debt, and she says no because she is paying towards it. I was shocked at how she could be so wrong and how financially ignorant she is. We're in the process of starting our NHS fertility journey, and we have an appointment soon, and I've been saving for a while because I'm pretty sure we'll have to go private as a same-sex couple. I asked her to save money for a baby fund too, and she started saving £20 a week, which I know she spent part of already. She doesn't have any savings. Today I asked her if she knows how much debt she's in. "I don't know." "Do you know an estimate? Is it 500, 1,000, 5,000? Yeah, something like that." "Something like what?" "Like one of those numbers." I don't think she's hiding anything from me. I think she doesn't realize what debt really means. She thought I only meant money she stopped paying, which is insane. She was supposed to, according to her, move her 3 credit cards to a 0% one, but the pin to register didn't work or something like that. She's waiting for a new one. "When did you register?" "I don't know, when I went to see my family." "That was last November." He replied, "I know, I've been busy." OP says, "Okay, you don't have to tell me, but for your own good, can you please check how much you owe for each card and the interest rate on each one?" He says, "I don't have access to my this account because blah blah blah." "Okay, so what about the 2 other credit cards?" She says, "Well, I don't use the app." "But you do have an app that you can log into and check." She says, "Yeah, but I don't use it." "Why don't you check it then?" She replied, "I don't know." At that point, I had to leave the room because I didn't want to be mean. She says that she's sure her debt is less than 2k, but honestly, I don't believe her anymore unless I see it with my eyes. But also she has her own right to not discuss it with me. I just mentioned that once we get married, her debt is my debt too, so I really need to know she's financially stable and educated. She has ADHD and is bad at timekeeping and money spending, but I didn't know it was that bad, and now I worry if this is something that can break the relationship. She started crying, saying, "Is this why you don't want to marry me?" I just don't like to be the center of attention, and now I've left the house to get some air. I know she's crying in the living room. Am I being irrational? Have I pushed her too much? How should I approach things next time we talk, and how can I help her with debt? Edit. Thank you all so much for your advice. I sat down with her again and talked for a long time about why this is important and why she needs to tackle the issue ASAP. She told me she wants to be better with money and not have that weight on her shoulders anymore, and asked if I can help her. I explained to her that we could check her debt on ClearScore. Thanks for the recommendation, and she agreed. She registered and turns out she has 5 credit cards and 8k in debt. It gave me a mini heart attack, but I didn't show it as I didn't want her to feel ashamed. She asked me, "Is this something doable then?" I said, "Yeah, but it'll take you a bit longer than you said. 2 to 3 years might be more realistic than end of year as you said." She told me she's going to give me her credit cards and give me access to all of her accounts so I can track where the money is going. I'm a budgeting freak, and we'll have a financial meeting every fortnight. She also will transfer 5k of the debt, the one with the highest interest, to a 0% interest card she opened and then ignored, and tackle the rest for now. Baby fund is obviously dead now, but I think this has been a big wake-up call for her, as her dream has always been to be a mum, and she realized it won't happen if this doesn't get sorted. The good thing, if I can call it that, is that she wasn't lying to me. She honestly didn't know she was in so much debt, as after a certain amount she got anxious and didn't check. But she has never missed a payment at least. Reddit Recluse says to the OP, "Oh boy, just a reminder that marriage is a huge financial commitment to another person. It's not just a "I love her" or "it's what we're supposed to do." Really think hard if you want to be strongly financially linked to someone who doesn't know that credit card debt is debt. Willis says, "I think this is more a relationship advice question than a financial one. You clearly know what you're talking about." She's understandably quite anxious and ashamed and avoidant about the topic. How you approach this is all about your relationship and how you navigate it. I would try and position it as you and her against the problem. You have the skills, you can help her out. You can do it together and she can lean on you. Anything that feels more like you're judging her for getting into debt in the first place or incredulous because she doesn't understand is going to come across like criticism and be upsetting. This isn't "I need to fix you." It's "if we do this together, we can do all these great things." It needs to be about the consequences of not having debt, rather than the consequences of having it. I feel for the ADH struggles in this story, but watching her just hand over all her cards and getting OP to track it, I was thinking, is that really the solution here? Because surely girlfriend should be building on her skills, not just noping out entirely. Maybe start with managing one of the cards rather than just handing them all over. The goal's gotta be, building herself up, not having OP as your financial parent, if you like. I mean, just finding some sort of coping strategy to work with that. Because otherwise, I just don't think you're actually tackling the underlying issue here, but maybe I'm wrong on that. 3 months later, OP comes in and says, 3 months ago, I posted here asking for some advice about my girlfriend's debt. To summarize, 3 months ago, I realized my girlfriend not only was completely financially illiterate. Example, she had no idea that paying credit card was being in debt. She thought that was more like a big mortgage. I know. But also, she was in credit card debt and she didn't even know how much she owed, as she was very ashamed and in denial. She had 5 credit cards. I was only aware of 2. Not because she was hiding them, but because they never came up in conversation, and was making minimum payments on all of them. Thanks to the advice here, I signed her to Clear Score to check how much debt she was on. £8,250. All in 30+% interest cards. My disappointment in her was her wake-up call. I'm extremely money savvy and I have the savings to cover her debt if needed. But I've worked hard for it and I have made sacrifices that would have seemed unfair. She never asked me to, for the record. She would also never learn that way, so I told her I'd help her by teaching her about finances, looking for better options to transfer the debt, etc. But the money sacrifice would have to be hers. We started by creating a version of the budgeting spreadsheet I use for my finances, because she didn't know how much she spent on different things. At first, I'd go through her bank account with her and tell her where to write every transaction twice a week. After a while, she was doing it weekly by herself, while I updated my own spreadsheet. We call them financial meetings, and we have a nice tea while doing it. After 2 months, we could see a pattern and tackle where the money goes. For example, she was subscribed to Prime, Netflix, Apple TV, Disney+, Now TV. We basically only watch Disney, which I get free thanks to Lloyd's perk, and Netflix. So she cancelled everything else. She also transferred most of the debt to a 0% interest card, the debt with the highest interest, and stopped spending money on unnecessary things. Also, I know that you're supposed to tackle the debt first before saving, but I wanted her to have a little satisfaction of watching her savings grow, which previously were 0, and getting her into a habit of saving money for her future. So every month on payday, I recommend her to send money to her savings account and leaving it there, and paying for her credit card debt, so she knows how much she has for the rest of the month. There's also little tricks for unnecessary spending, like she gave me all her credit cards so she can't use them. She deactivated Google Pay and contactless payments, so she has to physically introduce the card and type the PIN to buy. The slight inconvenience makes her more conscious of the money she's spending, etc. The result? In 3 months, not only her debt hasn't increased like it was the trend before, but it's gone down to £7,000. And considering she's low income right now, I'm extremely proud. She's put $1,700 into tackling her debt, although because only now we've managed to transfer her debt to a 0% interest card, the high interests are a lot of that, and her savings are £400. Seeing that if she wasn't in debt, she would have $2,100 right now, makes her even more willing to clear this debt. I just want to let people know, especially with partners that seem a bit irresponsible with money, that change is possible, but they also need support and trust and patience. I'm extremely proud of her, and she's in the path of clearing everything way before Christmas 2026, which is the goal I set for her. Edit. Thank you for the good vibes after something we felt very vulnerable in sharing, and thank you for the encouragement and for sharing your own experiences. Knowing that other people have been in our shoes and came out stronger is so reassuring. My girlfriend is over the moon with the support and nice words. Comment to say you sound like a great partner, OP, and it seems like your girlfriend really wants to sort this out and learn about finances now. All the best for your future. Commenter says, what a great update. I remember your original post, and when I saw the new post I feared the worst. Well done to you both. Opie says thank you. She's not on Reddit, but I showed her the original post comments. Even the mean ones, she cried about one, and found the comments that wanted to give real advice very useful. I'll show her these ones too tonight, for a bit of validation, because she deserves a bit of recognition. She's changed her habits, which are really hard to change overnight. It also took some patience from me, because sometimes at the beginning I just wanted to shout, how do you not know this, or why would you do this? Patience and understanding is key, but also not letting them play you. I told her a few times, ADHD and your family background is an explanation of why it happened, but not an excuse to let it happen again. And that is an absolutely lovely update for me. I think OP's absolutely amazing in this, and girlfriend as well for, willing to learn and putting in the effort to do so. I think OP really found a balance between, I'm willing to help you learn, but you're doing the work to do it. And I really do wish them all the best for their relationship going forward. I mean, both people willing to do the work, look after each other, and accept their faults, etc. I think it's lovely. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from whimsicallygrey from the Creepy Encounters subreddit. There is a trigger warning on this story of stalking and obsessive behavior, and it's just simply titled Creepy Pizza Delivery Guy. So, me and my boyfriend like going out dancing on the weekend, which always ends with us stumbling into our favorite pizza place before joining the taxi queue. We've done this most weekends for over a year now, so I've become somewhat friendly with the guys who own the pizzeria. They know us by name and always make a big fuss over us and offer us discount every time. Now here's where it gets freaky. Last night, a Sunday night at 11 PM, my boyfriend and I were in bed because we both had work this morning. My phone started ringing, which was weird for that time of night, and I saw it was an unknown number, so ignored it. Next thing we know, there's someone knocking on the front door. All the lights in the house were off, so we were clearly in bed or not in. I had another call from the same number, and then the person knocking started hammering on the door and flickering the letterbox. My boyfriend got up to answer it, even though I was a bit shaken up and warned him not to. If I had been alone in the house, I never would have answered. So he goes downstairs to answer the door, and lo and behold, it's one of the guys from the pizzeria holding 2 freshly cooked pizzas that we didn't order. He said not to tell the other guys at the shop, but they were a gift from him to us, his favorite customers. My boyfriend took them from him and thanked him, but we couldn't get back to sleep for hours. We just felt so odd about it. We've ordered from there once for a takeaway, so that's clearly how we got our address and my phone number. But it's still weird, right? Hell no, that is not normal behavior, showing up unannounced at 11 PM with gift pizzas and then telling you not to tell the other staff about it is creepy as hell to me. And the terrifying thought is, did he think that you were going to be home alone during this? Commenter says to OP, weird. I wonder if he thought you'd be home alone, which is a scary thought. I had a weird pizza delivery encounter a couple of years ago. I answered the door and he fidgeted longer than needed to hand me the pizza. He didn't say anything, but I don't know, he gave me a weird feeling. I even said to my roommate when I came back in. Minutes later, he requested me on Facebook, which creeped me the fuck out. I decided to Google his name and look at his docket. I'm a nosy bitch anyway, but had to find out his deal. And the first search result is a news article about him impersonating a police officer and kidnapping someone. He had charges before harassment too, so now I'm a little paranoid. I think like a week later I'm pumping gas and I look over and he's at the red light just staring me down. Nothing further happened. I don't think he worked there that long, but I definitely should have said something to the pizza place because someone with that record should not be a delivery driver. I'm not saying he shouldn't work. He can cook the pizza, but he shouldn't have access to people's info and going to their homes. I'd maybe let the manager know, or maybe your boyfriend could talk to them. Either way, I'd keep alert because he came after hours. Who knows if he'll do it again." Gee whiz, OP says, "Wow, that's so creepy. I know what you mean about the weird feeling. You should always trust your gut. I'm glad nothing else untoward happened to you. They definitely shouldn't have had someone like that be able to access customer information. I wonder how often these things get overlooked. It's a scary thought. My boyfriend is going to have a word with a manager next time we're in town. If it had been earlier in the day and he had said it was a cancelled order or something, it probably wouldn't have been so weird. But to be out so late and literally knock us awake just to give us 2 pizzas that we didn't order is so freaky." Practical Song says that's very strange. It seems to be a very odd time to be delivering pizzas to your house. Maybe he thought you didn't live with your boyfriend. My guess is that he got off work and wanted to bring you pizzas and was hoping that you'd invite him in. He said not to tell the other guys at the shop. Seemed suspicious as well. He knows that what he's doing isn't professional, so he's keeping his co-workers from finding out. I think you could call the manager and tell him what happened. That delivery guy shouldn't have access to your personal contact information and coming to your house late at night. I'm glad your boyfriend answered that door and you were safe upstairs." Opie responds saying, "That's such a scary thought. He had delivered to our house before when I was alone, so it makes sense he was checking to see if I lived alone. That's pretty freaky." Life is a Dream says, "Hopefully you didn't eat those pizzas either. You never know what he may have put on them." There was a news story in 2015 about a man who was repeatedly ejaculating into his female co-worker's coffee because he was attracted to her. Beating on your door in the middle of the night and calling persistently shows the pizza guy is a wacko. I hope you toss those pizzas in the trash bin. Opie says, and yep, the pizzas went in the bin the next morning. So it was 2 years after that Opie came in with an update and says, "I wrote a post a while back about a creepy pizza delivery guy who turned up at my house late at night with pizzas for me that I didn't order. You can read it here," and then shares the link. So I thought I'd provide an update for everyone who wanted one. After the night, the guy, I'll call him Bill for now, turned up at our house. Me and my partner went out for drinks a couple of weeks later and ended up in the pizza shop. We noticed immediately that Bill wasn't there, and I assumed that he was out on a delivery instead. Before we left though, the manager came out the back and said hello, then apologized profusely about Bill's behavior and told us that he fired him. He was very thankful that we weren't boycotting the place, and I assured him that we wouldn't because it really was the best pizza around. I'm not sure how the manager found out about Bill bringing the pizzas to our house, but I informed the manager about everything else that happened that night, how late it was, Bill calling my phone, etc., and manager was furious to say the least. He assured us that he wouldn't be letting him work there again, and my partner and I went on our way and went home. A few months later we moved house, unrelated to Bill, and never heard from him again. Until he showed up one night at our new house. He was delivering food for Uber Eats. I didn't want to take it further because we hadn't heard or seen him in months, so we just left it alone and went about our life. But then, about a month ago, I was going through my message requests on Facebook, and I saw that someone called Bill had been messaging me, or trying to, for months. I went into the messages and clicked his profile, and lo and behold, it was Creepy Bill. I blocked him immediately, and that was when I decided I'd report him on Uber Eats. So I filed a complaint about him, and I haven't heard anything since. But yeah, I have no idea how he found me on Facebook or how he knew my surname, but he did, and tried to message me for months. So there's the update. Creepy stuff. And it's gonna sound horrible to say, but it just doesn't feel like the end. The fact that he was basically stalking you in one job, then constant messages for months, OP said, over on Facebook, and now he has your new address. That doesn't feel like it's over to me because he's still out there, he still has these thoughts, and now he knows your new address. And OP's absolutely right to be reporting this thing to the companies he's working for because he shouldn't know people's personal information. He's showing dangerous behaviors that's escalating over time, and he shouldn't have access to people like that. And I sort of wonder if it's time to actually get the police involved. Again, I don't know if they would actually do anything, but getting that info reported at least is something, right? I've seen one too many of these creepy asses out there where this escalating behavior just doesn't stop till they're in cuffs or worse. Nikki left a comment below this saying, "During COVID, I ran a small homemade meal catering business, and I used a delivery app to get them to my customers. There was one driver who got my order most often. Probably he lived nearby, and he seemed to be a nice middle-aged uncle type. Could make small talk, nothing out of the unusual, when I handed him the food. By the way, I also lived in an apartment building with security personnel. After COVID quarantine was lifted, I went back to work and closed a small business. One day I got a message from the delivery uncle, asking why I never ordered delivery again. I said I'm back to work and no longer run the business and wished him luck. Then he replied back saying, "You have such a nice and long hair." I ignored that. He texted again saying, "I'm pretty." Then he started calling me, which I never answered, and texted me a few more times asking if he could come over. I blocked his number. People really can be creepy. Absolutely terrifying, and I just hope that OP is looking after themselves, taking it seriously, how dangerous someone like that can be. Potentially cameras, doorbell cam at the very least, especially if he might lose this delivery job at the same time. He's going to have a lot more spare time on his hands, which is fucking terrifying. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go.